Some people say China is one of the hardest places in the world to eat vegan, so today I'm putting that to the test, eating only vegan dishes for 24 hours. But here's the catch. No vegan restaurants, no specially curated vegan menu, just everyday, local, delicious Chinese food that's 100% meat, dairy, and egg free. Is it possible? More importantly, is it delicious? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hello, and welcome to another Chinese food adventure, and welcome to one of my favorite cities in China to eat, of course, Chengdu. But today I'm eating in Chengdu like I've never eaten here before. I'm only going to be eating vegan. I'm talking no meat, no eggs, no animal products of any kind. I mean, it sounds difficult, but as my good friend here has proven again and again on her channel, Vegan in China, not only is eating vegan in China possible, it's also very, very delicious. Welcome to the channel, Alex. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Alex from Vegan in China, or Alien. I've been living in Beijing for 7 years, all vegan. So I like to go on food adventures like Amy, but we do it fully plant-based.
How difficult is it to eat vegan in China?
You know, there is a learning curve, but actually, I mean, just check out behind me. There's so much produce here. There's so many tofu products. We're living in the land of tofu. With a few adjustments, it's actually super easy and super delicious. It's much easier to just walk into any restaurant here in China and find something delicious and vegan. Whereas like in Europe and Canada, probably Australia too, you almost always have to order from a vegan menu. But actually, Chinese flavors, most of them are actually naturally vegan. We're talking soy sauce, vinegar, pickles, chili oil is usually vegan too. So all of the flavors that make up Chinese cuisine are plant-based. So it's actually really easy to not only have a delicious meal, but leave satisfied.
Not only are we going to be eating vegan for breakfast, we're eating a dish I've never tried before. So you can still make discoveries and eat vegan at the same time. What's it called again?
It's called Youcha.
I've only ever tried it in Guangxi province.
And what was that one like?
It was more like a hot pot, to be honest.
Okay.
They put actually tea inside this big hot pot and oil. So it's literally an oil tea.
Well, that makes sense because Youcha means oil tea, but this one I don't think it has any tea in it.
就是我们这里的小吃吧，五谷杂粮做的，把它磨成细粉，就拿来熬，每天现熬的。
Then it's topped with soy sauce, chili oil, rapeseed oil, vinegar, pickles, spring onion, ground Sichuan peppercorns, crunchy peanuts, and finally these super crispy bits called sanzi.
There's going to be one change that we make, so we are going to ask for 不要鸡精, so no chicken essence. 我们吃素，所以可以不放鸡精。
花生米可以吃吗？
可以吃，
我们都是素的，我们
啊，都是素的，对，没有蚝油，没有猪油，
没有，
太好了，
都是素的。
I'm curious what you think of this because I have been told that I have a bit of a food blindness. Some foods that are intimidating for other people, I just don't see it.
What do people find intimidating about this?
I think the texture of the porridge.
So texture-wise, it's quite thick and pudding-like. Wow, it's nice. Just super fragrant. Very smooth texture. Their flavors are all hitting me. We got a nice amount of chili in there, which is good. Slightly smoky from the chili oil. It's quite peppery as well.
I love the textures that we're getting. We have like the crunchy sanzi. And then as you eat it, it will also get softer. So I always try to eat that part first because I love the crispiness. But then you also get like a bite from the onion. Like I feel like that kind of packs like a little bit of brightness.
Banger.
I feel like it really sits well in the stomach after. Like it's going to be filling. It's going to be satisfying. I think a lot of people think that if there's no meat in your breakfast, you're not going to leave satisfied. But I feel like this type of meal really sits well in the belly and it's going to keep us full for a little while. Just look at all of these tofu products here. I think back in Canada, we had like 2 or 3 tofus in the supermarket, but this I would even almost consider minimalist for China. But we've got like a few varieties of smoked tofu, tofu puffs. We've got fresh ones back there, soy milk, some fermented soybeans. Oh, my favorite, this tofu skin. You put it in the air fryer and it makes like the best chip. So you can salt it or put your favorite seasonings, but what I usually just do is I eat it plain and then use it as I make a dip and do it like that. So easy, like high protein snack. And then this is another one of my favorites. It's called fu ru, which is like a fermented tofu. I would say it's like kind of like a soy cheese. I eat it with like 葱油饼 or like put it in a sandwich as a spread.
Can we get some?
Yeah. 可以来一点腐乳，这是腐乳是不是？
So we've actually bought some of this furu, this spicy furu. 附近有葱油饼还是面包之类的？
你要吃馒头还是面包？
都可以。
都可以啊，那边有馒头。
Mantou is vegan, right?
Usually, now some of the people on my Chinese social media have said that sometimes they include lard, so we're gonna have to ask about that. 你好，你们有馒头吗？有。有，里面有猪油吗？猪油没有猪油，好，来一个，好。
那个叫是豆腐乳吗？
豆腐乳，是的。有点辣。Look how spongy! Take a little bit of furu and just kind of smear it on the mantou. It's pretty strong. Actually, the first time I ever had furu, I ate like a whole cube. I put a whole cube in my mouth, and it's super salty. So you don't want to be too generous with it.
I have never done this. And this is new for me. Putting furu on a mantou. And it's got so much flavor. I'm obsessed with this.
You can taste that it's aged. It's like a very complex flavor.
It's probably the kind of tofu with the most steps involved because you start with tofu, then you've got mold fermentation, and then it's salted, and then it's brined and flavored, and then it's aged to give it this spreadable, creamy, almost yeasty, cheesy flavor and texture because it's undergone fermentation.
Yes, actually the process is very similar to what we know in the West as cheese making.
In Anhui, I went to this pizza store run by a foreigner who's making pizza with furu as a cheese substitute.
Cool. You know, like girl dinners? This is my girl dinner, is like crackers or bread with furu. I love it.
Life hack.
Yes.
Great. For the vegans and non-vegans, this is what you need to be doing.
It's so flavorful. I think like a lot of people think, and even in China, like the word su means like plain but also vegetarian. And so a lot of people think su means bland. But I think this is like a perfect example of how vegan food in China can pack a punch.
As you're probably able to tell through the interactions in this video, learning Chinese has completely transformed the way that Alex and myself experience China. And that's why learning a language is so powerful. It's not just learning vocabulary and grammar, it's unlocking experiences that you simply wouldn't have had access to otherwise. Which is why I'm so excited to tell you about Rosetta Stone Sapphire, the brand new version of Rosetta Stone. So as you may or may not know, I've been using Rosetta Stone for years, first to practice my Chinese and now to learn German. And what I love about Sapphire is it keeps everything I already love about Rosetta Stone but builds on top of it. For example, you've still got the dynamic immersion method. That's what makes Rosetta Stone so iconic, is you're immersed in the language from day one. And it helps you learn through context rather than constant translation, much like how we learn a language naturally. But what's really exciting are the new features, and one of my favorites are these chat missions. They're basically immersive conversation scenarios based on real life situations, and the thing I love most about these is there isn't just one answer. The thing about language is there's often multiple ways, dozens of ways to express one idea. So you can reply in a way that feels natural to you, and then the program will guide you towards better, more confident communication. And this has been particularly useful for me because I'm married to a German and I've picked up a lot of non-textbook German, shall I say. And I've been really impressed that the program actually picks up and understands what I'm saying and will correct me. So now I have non-textbook German, but grammatically correct non-textbook German. So currently Rosetta Stone Sapphire, it's only available on desktop version and only available in the US. So you can use the link in my description for 25% off the yearly subscription to access to all 25 languages that Rosetta Stone offers. If you're not based in the US, you can still use my link for a special discount on Rosetta Stone Classic. Thanks to Rosetta Stone for partnering with me on this video. The weather has taken a turn for the worse, but that is the reality of Chengdu. They've even got these little stepping stones here on the side of the road so that you can...
I haven't seen that before, my goodness.
And now we're really going to put this video and this concept to the test.
Remember before I said that you can eat vegan at any restaurant? This restaurant is called Yuxiang Haigu Mian, which translates to fish fragrant pork rib noodles. So like, you really can find vegan food in the most unexpected places.
We're basically going to look at the menu and see what we can find.
Yes.
I actually just realized when we sat down that I have actually eaten here but once before.
Okay.
They're quite famous for their wontons, their spicy wontons. Obviously, that will not be an option for us.
No.
But we have a lot of things. What are you thinking?
So I see dan dan mian, which is a Sichuan classic. I think we might need to ask for no meat, so I'm curious to see how you feel about it with a missing ingredient.
I will be brutally honest, because I've had a lot of dan dan mian, but never one without the meat.
我们吃纯素，所以素的，所以不要猪油，不要鸡精，可以吗？
可以。
好，我们要一个担担面，不要肉。
好的，
这个是可以做纯素的吗？
可以。
可以啊，
会好吃吗？
好吃。
好吃，好好
OK, great.
然后千水面本来是素的，是不是？
对，没有肉。
你经常会有纯素的客人吗？
有。
有啊，什么？很多啊，太好了。
Maybe thanks to your content.
Maybe, I hope so.
Oh, 谢谢。Guys, I had to laugh. Our vegan dan dan mian arrived on our table, and this is what it looks like.
But the thing about Chinese noodles is the sauce is always on the bottom. So that does look like a sad vegan noodle, but I promise you it's not.
Okay, I mean, look underneath there. You've got all of that sauce. It smells good.
Yeah, it smells very fragrant.
Okay, well, here goes nothing. It's a delicious bowl of noodles. I mean, yeah, I think the meat does add a meatiness, a slight extra texture, a slight extra saltiness, which probably makes it maybe a little tastier, but it's definitely not a bad bowl of noodles.
One of the things I want to also just say is that like not every meal is going to be a winner.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love about China is that like I don't have to be afraid about going hungry. Like I can go into any shop and I'll be fed, at least. Like, I think vegans can't always count on that when traveling, but I feel like in China, you can. The texture of the noodles is amazing.
It's bang on.
Very chewy.
But you know what's going to make it even better?
What?
At every good noodle store here in Chengdu, you'll find this station over here, the pickle station. What that's giving is quite salty and like flavorful. And when we add a little bit of pickle, that's going to take it to the next level. And I'm actually sending it off to the kitchen. Did you know that Chengdu people like to eat their pao cai with la jiao you?
Oh no, that's new for me.
So this is how they do it.
Oh, that looks so good.
I could just come here and have that with rice. Because it's the smokiness with the sourness.
I'm a happy girl.
Now let's see what those pickles do to these noodles. This is now a dish I'd come here and happily have for lunch.
Just adds like a little bit of extra sourness, some texture that was missing. This was the one I was worried about you having because you do have something to compare it to, but the next ones that we're having are vegan by default. So I feel like they can stand alone by themselves a little bit more. So let's try them.
This is one of Chengdu's most iconic noodles, tian shui mian, literally sweet water noodles, because they are in fact sweet thanks to the brown sugar in the sauce, but you've also got soy sauce, chili oil, and garlic in there too, so it's this amazing balance of sweet, spicy, and salty.
I like this one.
It's nutty. It's almost creamy actually. I really like this one because it's not leading with sweetness.
Yes.
The sweetness is like an undertone, but it's more creamy and sesame and a little bit salty and yet also sweet. So I feel like it's all about the balance. I am loving that chili oil.
Their chili is great. I mean, I might buy one after. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, the thickness of this noodle is so different from other noodles. And it looks handmade, and I love how like
it is.
It has ridges, so the sauce like clings to it in a different way.
But as I've learned from Alex, you'll find accidentally vegan dishes like tian shui mian on pretty much every Chinese menu, and not just in restaurants. Local corner shops are full of snacks, many of them vegan by chance.
So one thing I find really interesting about Chinese accidentally vegan snacks is sometimes they have very meaty names. So for example, this is Su Mao Du, which is basically vegan stomach.
In case anyone is wondering, what exactly does vegan stomach taste like? Well, packets in packets. I thought I would buy some and try it for you guys. So this is what it looks like. I believe it's made from konjac noodle, and the texture falls somewhere between jelly-like, a crunch, with a bit of a bite and resistance to it. It's very satisfying. It's quite spicy. It's got a zing to it, which I really like. I would definitely get this flavor again.
Also, I know this is like one of your favorite snacks I've seen you eat on the channel before is la
I do love la tiao, yeah.
So this is basically like an oily gluten stick that's super spicy, very unhealthy, but like so delicious.
I thought while I'm at it, why not also do a la tiao tasting session? not sponsored by the way. This is just a brand that you'll find everywhere. Like I'm actually in Australia as I do this tasting session right now, and I just went up to my local Asian grocer and got me some Latiao. They have so many different flavors, but I thought I'd get this one because since we're on the topic of accidentally vegan snacks, this is meat flavored Latiao, yet it is still somehow vegan. I mean, I'm no expert, but I have checked the Chinese ingredients, I've checked the English ingredients. There is no mention of milk, egg, meat anywhere to be seen. So I'm taking that as a win. Let's see what meat flavored, non-meat stick tastes like. Oh, I tell you, I love a Latiao. That texture, my mouth is filling with water as it's in my mouth. Does it taste like meat? It tastes like all the other Latiao that I've had. They all have a very specific kind of flavor. They're spicy, they're mouth numbing. What I love is the texture because it's so spongy. I mean, you can push that down and you can just see the flavor come out.
Tofu snacks, which are also really popular, tofu gan. So that's great. The protein that you're worried that the vegans aren't getting. This was the first mistake I actually made as a vegan in China, is thinking that soy milk is always vegan. So especially like the powder ones, and yes, this one too, it's got whole milk powder. So Amy, like you're lactose intolerant, you also probably shouldn't be drinking like the powdered soy milk. Also, some Oreo flavors, some really funky flavors you can get that are vegan. Right now there's this limited edition red bean one. There's also this one, unfortunately it contains milk powder, but mushroom flavor.
We actually tried the red bean ones and wow, yeah, it tastes exactly like red bean with almost zero sweetness as well. So I definitely feel like this would appeal to a lot of people in China. And side note, I've never seen as many localized flavors of Oreos as I have here in China. And I'm curious to know what the Oreo aisle looks like in the country you live in. Let me know in the comments. Since we're on the topic of dessert, let's just dive in deep and actually try some Chengdu desserts that all happen to be very pleasantly vegan. And dessert is actually a category that I feel very confident in knowing how to eat vegan because I've been lactose intolerant for many years. And the good thing about China is you don't really see that much dairy in local desserts unless you're in very specific regions of China. And here in Chengdu, actually some of my favorite desserts are completely vegan. Like obviously you've got Bingfen. Actually, talking of Bingfen, a little later we stumbled across a store that specializes in something I've never seen before, hot Bingfen. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you'll know I love Bingfen, but I've never tried a hot one.
I'm a Bingfen fan too, but this is kind of freaking me out. I just don't know what it's gonna be.
Well, it's gonna be vegan.
It is.
That's one thing it will be.
So that's one thing that's interesting. So a lot of people, they see jelly and they think it's made of gelatin, but Bingfen is made from a seed.
You may remember a certain hotel room experiment I did recently where I tried making Bingfen from seeds I picked up at a local market. The end result was a very questionable shade of yellow, but I did get to see how it works. You soak the seeds, rub them together, and they release this pectin, which sets into that jelly-like texture. So while my Bingfen wasn't exactly appetizing, I can personally vouch that it was 100% vegan. This place is amazing. This is an entire Bingfen menu. And the top 3 here can all be made hot. So they've basically just got a normal vat of Bingfen, which they then just heat up and add to the bowl and top with ingredients of choice as usual. I went for the classic Hongtang Bingfen, the brown sugar Bingfen, which is made with this gorgeous rich brown sugar syrup. And Alex went for the lychee and rose Bingfen.
I am just confused on so many levels by this. First, like touching it and it's hot.
But it looks like Bingfen.
And Bing means ice, so this is very weird. It's not bad, but I think I'd prefer it cold.
It's hard for me to know because for me that isn't Bingfen. Bingfen is with the, I'm a purist. It has to have the Hongtang, it needs to have the hawthorn, the taba, the peanut. So for me, I'm more interested to try this one to actually sense whether I like it hot or cold. The tastes are all there. The creamy, caramelly, rich sweetness is there. You've got the textures from all the ingredients. But I have to agree with you. I think I would prefer it as a cold dish, but it's not bad.
It's not bad, but I think it's exactly how it sounds in your head. It's hot Bingfen.
But Bingfen is not the only vegan dessert on the menu here in Chengdu. You have so many others. Welcome to our collection of very jiggly desserts. Check this out. Look how jiggly. First, we're gonna try the lianggao. It comes from Yibin. It's a city not too far from Chengdu, and it's actually made from rice. And what I love about this is its texture. The texture, it looks like it could be tofu, but it's also very different from tofu. It's also not glutinous. It's not jelly. It's somehow all of those somehow together.
And as a vegan, this lianggao always kind of confuses me because I always feel like it has a little bit of a sulfuric eggy taste
does,
to it.
yeah.
But I've done my research and I've asked many times and it doesn't contain egg. So it's very like flan-like. I feel like it's the Chinese version of flan.
Especially with that Hongtang on top, kind of the brulee sauce.
Yes.
Next up, very important category of dessert here in China in general. This is douhua, basically tofu pudding. So another way that vegans can enjoy their tofu in China and get your protein but also your dessert at the same time. You can get it in all different ways. One of my favorite, and I really want you to go to this place, you will
Okay.
love it. It tastes exactly like creme brulee. It's called Bing Douhua, and the texture is like nothing else. And it's exactly like creme brulee, but completely vegan. This one's a little bit different. This one I think is gonna be like jiuliang, a little bit alcohol-y, as with mo li hua, which is jasmine. That's nice.
I love that.
It's very refreshing without being too sweet in your face. It looks pretty plain, but it's just the right amount of everything.
I'm getting like, what is that? It's like
Eggnoggy?
eggnoggy. That's
Yeah,
it.
right?
It has a bit of an eggnoggy
Yeah.
taste.
This one's a little bit of a wild card. Have you had ofen before?
I've never had, but so ofen, that's lotus, right?
Lotus powder or lotus starch powder, and it's got to have the most interesting texture.
I'm woo. And I thought the yocha was going to be intimidating, but
Yeah, look, I mean, check that out. It does not come off the spoon. Like, it's stuck to the spoon. It's got the most interesting texture.
okay, I know I said before that I had food blindness, but this one is intimidating for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's got a very interesting texture, but it really essentially has not much of a taste. At least the
Okay.
ones I've had in the past. But it's
Oh. I mean, it's very gloopy.
the texture is so intense, it's almost hard to eat because it coats my throat as it goes down. And imagine that, but on the inside of your pipe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite of the three, but it's very unique and interesting, and also vegan.
Well, thank goodness for that. I mean, I feel like I could learn to like it, but I'm not gonna lie. It's not love at first sight or first taste.
It's better when you mix it all together.
I'm starting to become more and more convinced. I think I will still go for the douhua. You can have that, but
Actually, that's definitely my favorite, but it's definitely been a very sweet end to this food adventure. It's going to bring us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you,
Thank you
Amy.
for imparting your vegan wisdom. I mean, yes, I do eat everything on this channel, but I think we should all be eating a little less meat, and these are some great tips for how you can go about it when you're in China, whether you're vegan, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're vegan curious. So thank you, and feel free to follow Alex on all of her platforms. I'm putting them all here. Thank you so much for everything.
thank you, Amy.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. We'll have to make this an ongoing series and
Definitely.
see how we can eat vegan all over China.
I would love that.
Yay. Well, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Goodbye from Chengdu. Bye.